Welcome back to the Gold IRA Blueprint Podcast. We're diving deep today, and it's going to
Yeah.
be into Pacific Premier IRA. This self-directed retirement account, it's all about giving you the reins when it comes to planning for those golden years. So if you're looking for that flexibility.
And control over your retirement savings, especially if you're, thinking about assets like precious metals. This is something you'll want to stick around for.
Yeah, for sure. It's a super interesting way to think about retirement planning. Like it really turns that whole set it and forget it thing on its head. Absolutely. Now, before we get into the specifics of Pacific Premier, let's take a little detour. For anyone who might be new to IRAs in general, think of it as like laying the groundwork. Before we start building, right, an IRA or individual retirement account, it's basically like this, a special savings account that's designed to help you build that nest egg for retirement. And hey, don't forget, for a free checklist that will help you choose the right Gold IRA company, visit goldirablueprint.com/exclusive. All right, so back to IRAs. The cool part is you don't just like stuff cash in there. You can invest in things like stocks and bonds. And here's the kicker. You get some pretty sweet tax advantages.
Oh, yeah, those tax advantages are a game changer. I mean, the specifics depend on the type of IRA you go with, but usually you're either putting off those taxes on your growth until retirement or you're getting tax-free withdrawals later on. Of course, you got to meet certain conditions, but still, it's like a little bonus from Uncle Sam just for being smart and planning ahead.
Okay, so we've got this foundation of what an IRA is. A special savings account with some tax perks. So where does Pacific Premier fit into all of this?
So Pacific Premier is what's called a self-directed IRA. Think of it like, you get to choose your own adventure for your retirement savings. Instead of being limited to just a few pre-selected investments, you get to pick and choose from a ton of different assets, including things like real estate and precious metals. It's all about matching your investments with your own goals and how much risk you're comfortable with.
That really aligns with the whole idea behind the Gold IRA blueprint, don't you think? Taking control, making choices that work for you, not just going with the flow.
Oh, absolutely. It gives people the power to really be involved in shaping their financial futures.
Now let's break down the different types of IRAs. I know this can get a little confusing. So let's, explain it like we're chatting with a friend over coffee. We've got the traditional IRA, the Roth IRA, the SEP IRA, and the simple IRA. It's not a one-size-fits-all situation, right? Each one has its own little quirks.
For sure. Let's start with the traditional IRA. It's like planting a seed, and it grows tax-free until you're ready to harvest it in retirement. Your contributions, they might be tax deductible, but that depends on your income and a few other things. And any earnings you make in that account, they grow tax deferred. So you don't pay taxes on them until you take them out in retirement.
It's a pretty good deal, right? So like getting a head start on those retirement savings.
Exactly. And then you've got the Roth IRA. This one's all about those tax-free withdrawals in retirement. Again, got to meet some conditions, but still.
Yeah, think of it as like you're paying your dues now, so you can have a worry-free future. No taxes to think about when you're enjoying those golden years.
Love that analogy. Okay, now the SEP IRA and the simple IRA, those are more geared towards, people who are self-employed and small business owners.
So if you're your own boss, these
Yeah.
are definitely worth checking out.
The SEP IRA, or Simplified Employee Pension IRA, it's a really great choice for those who want to supercharge their retirement savings. You can contribute way more than with a traditional IRA, up to 25% of what you earn, or a massive $66,000 in 2023.
Wow, that's a lot of money. What about the simple IRA?
SIMPLE stands for Savings Incentive Match Plan for Employees. It's designed for small businesses, where both the employee and the employer can chip in, and the employer can even choose to match those contributions, making it even easier for employees to save up for retirement.
So it's like a team effort to build that nest egg. I like it. All right, so we've covered the four main types of IRAs. Traditional, Roth, SEP, and simple. They each have their own pros and cons, of course, so it's important to do your research and pick the one that fits your situation best.
Okay, so now that we've got those basics out of the way, let's shift gears and really focus on, the star of the show here. Pacific Premier IRA. What makes it so special? Well, first off, it has all those standard tax advantages you'd expect from an IRA, whether you go with traditional or Roth. But where Pacific Premier really shines is, the flexibility and control it gives you.
You keep saying self-directed, but what does that actually mean for someone, someone who's thinking about Pacific Premier?
It means you're not stuck with just the usual stuff, like stocks, bonds, mutual funds. Pacific Premier opens up this whole world of alternative investments so you can really diversify your portfolio in ways that traditional IRAs just don't allow. We're talking real estate, precious metals, private equity, and more. It's all about, aligning your investments with your passions, your vision for the future.
Yeah, that diversification is key, right? Like not putting all your eggs in one basket,
Mm.
especially these days. With the economy being what it is, having a diverse portfolio can really help you ride out those market storms.
Exactly. Pacific Premier lets you spread your risk across all these different asset classes. So you're potentially protecting your savings from, you know, those market swings that are bound to happen.
It's like building a stronger, more resilient foundation for your retirement.
That's it. Now, I know some people might be a little hesitant about this whole self-directing thing. It sounds like you need, a ton of knowledge and experience.
That's a fair point.
Yeah?
Some folks might feel overwhelmed, having to make all those investment decisions themselves.
Yeah, I get that. But here's the thing. Pacific Premier offers a bunch of support services to help you along the way. They've got a team of, experienced investment advisors who can give you personalized advice, help you come up with a strategy that works for your goals and risk tolerance. It's like having a financial coach in your corner, cheering you on, giving you expert guidance when you need it.
That sounds reassuring, especially for someone who's like new to this whole self-directed investing thing.
Absolutely. And for those who are, comfortable doing their own research and making their own calls, Pacific Premier has a really user-friendly online platform. Makes it super easy to, look at investment options, make trades, keep track of your portfolio. It's all about giving you the tools and resources you need to succeed, no matter how much experience you have.
Okay, before we dig deeper into those specific investment options, let's talk about the elephant in the room, fees. Everyone wants to know what it costs to play in this self-directed sandbox.
Transparency is so important. Pacific Premier's got a really clear and competitive fee structure. You'll have a reasonable annual maintenance fee, which covers things like, account administration and regulatory stuff. And then, of course, there are transaction fees when you buy or sell investments. But those are pretty much in line with what everyone else charges.
So no hidden surprises or
Yeah.
crazy costs to worry about.
Nope. Pacific Premier is all about being transparent and making this platform affordable for self-directed investors.
All right, so we've covered the flexibility, the support services, the fees, but let's get back to those exciting investment options. You mentioned real estate, precious metals, private equity. Paint us a picture. What does that look like in real life?
Okay, imagine this. You've always wanted to own a rental property, right? But you haven't quite been able to make it happen with your personal finances. Well, with the Pacific Premier IRA, you can actually use your retirement savings to invest in real estate. So you could potentially be generating passive income and building long-term wealth.
That's pretty amazing. It's like opening up this whole new avenue for building your retirement portfolio.
Exactly. And then there's precious metals. When the economy is uncertain, gold and silver have historically been a safe haven, a way to hedge against inflation. With a Pacific Premier IRA, you can easily add precious metals to your portfolio for that extra layer of security.
I know a lot of our listeners are really interested in gold IRAs. Does Pacific Premier specialize in that area?
They do. They're one of the leading providers of gold IRAs. They make it really simple and straightforward to add physical gold and other precious metals to your retirement savings plan.
And for those who are looking for something, a little more adventurous, there's private equity. What's the draw there?
Private equity has the potential for higher returns, but it also comes with higher risk, of course. It's not for everyone. But for those who are comfortable with that risk and have a longer time horizon for their investments, it can be a really exciting way to diversify and potentially tap into those high-growth opportunities.
That's like being a venture capitalist for your own retirement, right?
Exactly. And Pacific Premier has the expertise and resources to guide you through those more complex investment strategies.
Okay, so all this flexibility and control sounds amazing, but we should also acknowledge, that there might be some downsides. What are some things to think about before jumping headfirst into a Pacific Premier IRA?
You're right, it's not a perfect fit for everyone. Self-directed IRAs, just by their nature, they require, a certain level of investment knowledge and a willingness to take on more responsibility. You need to be comfortable doing your own research, making your own decisions, and maybe even seeking advice from someone else when you need it.
So it's not for the passive investor who just wants to set it and forget it.
It's definitely a more hands-on approach, But for those who are willing to put in the time and effort, the rewards can be significant.
What about risks? Every investment has risks, of course. But are there any specific risks associated with a self-directed IRA like Pacific Premier?
Well, because you have so much freedom to choose your investments, there's always a chance of making, not so great decisions. It's really important to do your homework, diversify your portfolio,
It's
and
like,
manage your risks carefully.
it's like you have more control over the car,
Yeah.
but you also need to be a more skilled driver.
Right. Perfect analogy. And remember, Pacific Premier is there to provide guidance and support.
Speaking of guidance and support, let's talk about the customer service experience with Pacific Premier. What can investors expect when they, reach out for help?
Pacific Premier is known for having fantastic customer service. They've got a dedicated team full of knowledgeable and responsive reps who are there to answer your questions, address your concerns, and provide assistance whenever you need it.
That personal touch can make a big difference, especially when you're dealing with something as important as your retirement savings.
Right, for sure. Pacific Premier gets that. And they really try to create a positive and supportive experience for all their clients.
Now, before we move on, I wanted to remind everyone about that awesome resource we have for those who are specifically interested in gold IRAs.
The free checklist, right?
Yes, it's a complete guide. That will help you navigate the world of gold IRAs. And choose the company that's right for you. You can download it at goldirablueprint.com/exclusive.
It's packed with great tips and insights. Definitely take advantage of that.
Okay, back to Pacific Premier. We've talked about the potential downsides. But what are some of the big advantages that really make them stand out?
I think one of their biggest strengths is their commitment to transparency. Their fees are clear and straightforward, and they're always upfront about any potential costs or risks. They also have a really strong track record. They consistently deliver value to their clients.
So they're not just all talk, they actually walk the walk.
Exactly. They've got a proven track record of success, and they're dedicated to making sure their clients have a positive and rewarding experience.
Now, let's talk about security. These days, security is everything, right? Especially when it comes to our financial info and investments. How does Pacific Premier keep its clients' accounts safe?
They use, state-of-the-art technology and security measures to protect your account and your personal information. Their platform is monitored 24/7 for any potential threats, and they're always updating their security protocols. To stay ahead of the game, you can rest assured that your investments are safe and sound with Pacific Premier.
That peace of mind is priceless.
It really is. When you're trusting a company with your retirement savings, you need to know that they take security seriously.
So we're focusing on Pacific Premier IRA today, but for our listeners who might be, checking out other self-directed IRA options, what are some key things to look for when choosing a custodian?
Great question. First and foremost, make sure they have a good reputation and a proven track record. You want a custodian who's been around for a while, has a history of happy clients, and is known for being honest and reliable.
So do your homework and check their references.
Exactly. You also want to look at their fees, make sure they're transparent and competitive. Don't be afraid to ask questions, and compare fees across different custodians.
And their customer service, right? That's a big one for me.
Absolutely. You want a custodian who's responsive and provides great support. Look for a company that offers different ways to get in touch, like phone, email, online chat, and has a reputation for being helpful and knowledgeable.
And of course, you want to make sure their platform is secure and easy to use.
Right. You want to be able to manage your account without any hassle, access your investments, execute transactions. Look for a platform that's intuitive, secure, and has all the features you need.
Okay, let's circle back to Pacific Premier IRA for a sec and talk about some of the specific features that really set them apart. We've talked about the big picture stuff, but what are some of the finer details?
One thing that really impressed me was their commitment to education. They offer a ton of resources to help their clients make smart decisions, webinars, articles, even one-on-one consultations with their advisors. They want their clients to be educated and empowered, which I think is awesome.
It's like they're not just a custodian. They're like a partner in your retirement journey.
Exactly. They're invested in your success.
Yeah.
And they want to see you reach your financial goals.
So once you open a Pacific Premier IRA, how do you actually go about investing in those different asset classes?
It's surprisingly simple. They have this really user-friendly online platform that makes it easy to research and choose investments. You can browse through their whole catalog of assets, read detailed descriptions, and compare different options side by side.
So you can really take your time. and make informed choices.
Absolutely. And if you need any help, their investment advisors are just a phone call or email away.
Now, I know a lot of our listeners are interested in gold IRAs. Can you walk us through how to set one up with Pacific Premier?
Sure. The first step is to open a self-directed IRA account with Pacific Premier. Once your account is up and running, you can choose to invest in physical gold or other precious metals. They have a network of trusted dealers who can help you find and buy the metals.
That's a pretty smooth process.
It is. Pacific Premier has streamlined everything to make it as easy and hassle-free as possible.
We talked about fees earlier, but can you give us a little more detail about the specific fees for a gold IRA through Pacific Premier?
Yeah, so in addition to the annual maintenance fee and transaction fees, you'll also have storage fees for your metals. Those fees cover the cost of storing your gold in a secure IRS-approved depository.
So you got to factor those storage fees into your total investment costs.
For sure. But it's worth it for the peace of mind, knowing your metals are safe and sound.
Now, let's talk a bit about Pacific Premier Trust, the company behind Pacific Premier IRA. What can you tell us about their reputation and track record?
They're a really reputable company with a solid track record in the self-directed IRA space. They've been around for a while, and they've built a strong reputation for great customer service and a secure platform.
That peace of mind is so important. When you're trusting a company with your retirement savings, it's good to know they have a proven track record.
Absolutely. And they're really committed to staying ahead of the curve. When it comes to technology and security, they're constantly innovating and improving their platform to make sure their clients have the best possible experience.
We talked about the benefits of diversifying your investments, but can you give our listeners some concrete examples of how they might do that within a Pacific Premier IRA? What are some asset classes they could consider?
Sure. Real estate is a popular one. You could invest in rental properties, commercial real estate, even raw land.
So if you've ever dreamed of being a real estate mogul, a Pacific Premier IRA can help you get started.
Exactly. And then there's precious metals, of course, a great hedge against inflation. You can invest in gold, silver, platinum, and palladium.
And with all the economic uncertainty we're seeing, precious metals are definitely worth thinking about.
Absolutely. They can bring a sense of stability and security to a volatile market.
What about private equity? That sounds a little sophisticated.
It is a bit more complex, but it can also offer higher potential returns. You're essentially investing in companies that aren't publicly traded, which could be anything from startups to well-established businesses.
So the chance to get in on the ground floor of some potentially exciting companies.
Exactly. But it's important to remember, private equity investments are also illiquid, meaning it can be hard to sell your shares quickly if you need to.
Good point. It's always important to understand the risks and potential downsides of any investment before you jump in.
Absolutely. Diversification is key, but it's also crucial to do your research and understand the specific risks of each asset class.
So I know Pacific Premier IRA gives you a lot of control, but are there any limits on what you can invest in?
There are some things you can invest in, like collectibles, life insurance, certain types of derivatives. The IRS has rules about what's allowed in an IRA, so it's always best to check with Pacific Premier Trust to make sure your investments are compliant.
Good reminder. It's important to follow the rules and make sure your investments are legit and approved for IRAs.
Exactly. And Pacific Premier Trust can give you guidance on those rules. They have a whole team of compliance experts who can help you stay on the right side of the IRS.
Okay, so we've covered the investment options, the risks, the fees, the customer service, the security. Anything else we need to touch on before we wrap up?
Let's just go over the tax implications one more time, just to make sure everyone's on the same page. With a traditional IRA, your contributions might be tax deductible, but when you take money out in retirement, it'll be taxed as ordinary income. With a Roth IRA, your contributions aren't deductible, but your qualified withdrawals in retirement are tax-free.
So it's all about picking the type of IRA that works best for your tax situation and your long-term financial goals.
Exactly. It's smart to talk to a tax advisor to make sure you're getting the most out of your IRA and minimizing your taxes.
Now, what about the investment performance of Pacific Premier IRA? I know past performance doesn't guarantee future results, but can you give our listeners any idea of how these accounts have done historically?
I can't give you specific numbers, but I can say that the performance of your Pacific Premier IRA will really depend on the investments you choose. If you invest in a diverse mix of assets that match your risk tolerance and financial goals, you have a good chance of achieving strong returns over the long run.
So it's all about making smart investment choices and staying the course.
Absolutely. Investing is a marathon, not a sprint.
Now, before we move on to our final thoughts, I just wanted to remind everyone about that free checklist. That can help you choose the right Gold IRA company. You can get it at goldirablueprint.com/exclusive.
Yeah, that checklist is super valuable. Definitely check it out.
So it sounds like Pacific Premier is a really good fit for people who want, more control and flexibility with their retirement planning,
Hmm.
especially those who are interested in diversifying with alternative assets like real estate or precious metals.
Yeah, I think you've got it. It's about giving people the power to create a retirement plan that really works for them and their goals, not just some, one-size-fits-all approach.
Exactly. And speaking of empowerment, before we wrap up, I want to go back to something we talked about earlier, the idea of a gold IRA. There's a lot of buzz about it these days, and I know a lot of our listeners are really interested in this.
Oh yeah, gold IRAs have definitely become more popular lately, especially with, all the economic uncertainty we've been seeing. It makes sense that people are looking for ways to protect their savings
Yeah,
and diversify their
for
portfolios.
sure. So for those who are new to this, can you give us a quick overview of what a gold IRA is and how it works?
Basically, a gold IRA is just a self-directed IRA that lets you invest in physical gold. Instead of things like stocks or bonds, you're actually holding real, tangible assets in your retirement account.
So instead of just seeing numbers on a screen, you have actual gold bars or coins.
Exactly. It's a way to add a physical asset to your retirement portfolio, something that's historically held its value well, even when the economy is shaky.
I think that tangible aspect is really appealing to people, especially now when everything feels so digital and abstract.
It definitely provides a sense of security and stability that a lot of people find comforting.
We talked about Pacific Premier being a leader in gold IRAs. What makes them stand out in this area?
A few things. First, they really understand the precious metals market. And they have a network of dealers they trust, so it's easy for their clients to find and buy high-quality gold and other metals.
So you don't have to go out and find a reputable dealer yourself. Pacific Premier takes care of that.
Exactly. They've already vetted the dealers for you, so you know you're working with trustworthy sources.
What about storage? I know there are rules about storing gold in an IRA.
You're right. Pacific Premier works with secure depositories that are approved by the IRS, so your gold is stored safely and it's insured. You don't have to worry about keeping it safe at home or finding a secure storage place yourself.
That definitely makes things easier.
Absolutely. Pacific Premier makes it simple to add gold to your retirement plan without any extra stress.
I think some people might be hesitant about gold IRAs, thinking they're only for, the super rich, or people who are really into precious metals investing. Is that true?
Not at all. Gold IRAs are for anyone who wants to diversify their retirement portfolio. With a tangible asset that's known for holding its value, you don't have to be a gold expert or have a ton of money. It's about having choices and making decisions that work for your financial goals.
That's a really good point. It's not an all or nothing thing. It's about adding another tool to your retirement toolbox.
Exactly. It's about having more options and the flexibility to create a retirement plan that really reflects your needs.
One of the key themes we've been talking about today is how important it is to take control and make informed decisions about your retirement planning.
That's what it's all about, right? It's your future, your retirement, your financial well-being. You should be the one making the choices that align with your vision and your goals.
Absolutely. And that's where a company like Pacific Premier can really help. They provide the tools, the resources, the expertise, the support to help you navigate this whole world of retirement planning and make the right choices for you.
I completely agree. They're not just a custodian, they're a partner in your retirement journey. They want you to succeed, and they want to give you the power to make informed decisions.
And speaking of empowerment, don't forget about that free checklist we mentioned if you're interested in gold IRAs or just want to explore different options for a more flexible retirement plan. That checklist is a must-have. It will guide you through the key things to think about, the potential benefits, and the things to watch out for when choosing a gold IRA company.
It's a really great resource to help you make sense of it all.
You can download it at goldirablueprint.com/exclusive. It's free, it's comprehensive, and it could be the first step towards taking charge of your retirement future.
Don't miss out on it.
Well, I think we've covered pretty much everything about Pacific Premier IRA and gold IRAs in general. It's been a great conversation, and I hope our listeners feel empowered and informed to make the best choices for themselves.
It's been a pleasure sharing these insights with you and your listeners. Remember, knowledge is power. especially when you're planning for your future.
Thanks for joining us for another deep dive. We hope you found this episode helpful and informative. Until next time, happy investing.